Good morning everyone, my name is Oralia. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a review and wear demo of the Benefit Hello Happy foundation. It's the soft blur foundation. It's this little guy right here. You've seen me use him before. I did try him on as not a first impression, but trying on new makeup, and I have been wearing it for the last few days and have a definite opinion about the foundation, but thought I would still bring it to you guys, show you how it applies, and then show you how it wears throughout the day, and then let you know my final thoughts at the end of the day. I guess let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna come in closer and we'll get this baby going. But before I get started though, I was gonna do like a combo video with the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and I've decided that I'm gonna hold off on doing it as a combined video. I want to dedicate a video just to this, and I'm thinking of possibly doing a comparison to Shape Tape, like on my face. So I'm gonna come in closer and let's get started. Good morning to my face. I apologize if my voice is really froggy. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I am getting ready for work and I just woke up and I went to bed super late. So I'm really tired this morning. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the foundation. This is what the little guy looks like. It's really cute packaging. How can you be upset at that little face? But it has been a journey with this foundation, I'm not gonna lie. Before I start with the foundation, I'm gonna start out with my primer. I'm gonna start out with the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. I've had to go back to this one because sadly this foundation does not play well with the NYX pore filler, at least not on my face. With the NYX primer, it just didn't do well at all. I've tried multiple application methods with this foundation, and I have found that a flat top kabuki is the best. I'm going to be using the Morphe S14. I think any flat top kabuki will do as long as the bristles aren't too loose, because if they're too loose it just makes for a streaky mess. I always have to go in with my beauty blender afterward and kind of just make sure that everything looks nicely blended. Oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned I'm in the shade 7 on this foundation, which is an okay shade. I don't think it's my best shade, but I am a little bit tan right now, so I think that's why it's working so well. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dot this on my face, and I added, just a little squirt, maybe it is a lot, I don't know. I think that in the winter I would definitely use a lighter shade in this foundation. I found that rubbing it isn't the best way. I have to stipple this in, so it's gonna take me a minute to get this on my face. Would you guys like to see me review the ColourPop foundation? Let me know in the comments or give me a thumbs up. This applies fairly well with this brush, like I said, but I do have to I do have to pounce it in so that way it doesn't get streaky. This is probably one of the streakier foundations I've ever used, even with a beauty blender, surprisingly. But eventually it does start behaving itself, and starts blending into the skin. I found that I don't need to layer this if I use the stippling brush method, because that's where I get the best coverage. But at the same time, I don't know, this foundation goes on well enough, I think, but if I don't use this kabuki brush, what ends up happening is that right off the bat, the foundation will just right at the beginning settle into my pores and fine lines, immediately. Yesterday I had a rough day with this foundation because I tried using my Artis brush again, and it was an awful mess. I mean, it looked awful, and I couldn't get it to behave itself on my nose. And then I tried going, I actually had to go take it off and start over. And then I tried my beauty blender, and it wasn't all that much better. I didn't have my kabuki brush in here, and I was just kind of testing things out anyway. because I knew that I had a really good application with this Kabuki brush. I just wanted to see what happened with the Artis brush again. I will say one thing, that the Beauty Blender does lift this foundation off of your face, especially my nose. I am having the hardest time with this foundation and my nose. I'm making sure that my nose is covered, making sure that it stays covered, making sure that it looks good. Right now, I wouldn't say that it looks the best. The foundation, as it stands right at this moment, feels and looks like it is sitting on top of my face. It doesn't feel like it's becoming one with my skin. It's just sitting there. Let me come in closer and let me see if you can tell what is happening on my nose. Hello, nose. It just isn't sitting very well on it, you know? It just doesn't seem to look right on my nose, to me. I am looking at a highly magnified mirror, and so maybe that's why I'm seeing all the imperfections, because when I look at myself from, you know, I'm looking at the mirror that I've got behind my camera, it looks okay, you know, it doesn't look bad, but up close it's a mess. I'm gonna move on to concealer, and I'm gonna go with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I am in Ginger. I haven't used this concealer with this foundation. I've actually been using the Too Faced concealer, but because I'm gonna dedicate an entire video to it, I'm gonna go ahead and refrain from using it today. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out. So I'm not sure how this concealer is going to play with this foundation because I've never used this combination. I've been sticking to the Too Faced concealer because I've been testing it out, trying it out for you guys, making notes, all that fun stuff. Seems to be playing really nicely with this. I forget just how beautiful and wonderful that NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer is. Couple years back, it was a cult favorite, and now I only see it pop up every once in a while, but it is really a good concealer. So if you are in the market for a nice concealer and you've never tried the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, you ought to give it a shot because it's really a good one. I'm gonna go in on my eyes with my NYX HD concealer. And thank you guys for replying and letting me know that you wanted to see a concealer review. I really, really appreciate the feedback. Okay, and now for powder. I've tried a couple of different powders. I'm going to try a new one today and see how it goes. I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I am in 25 medium, and we will see how that goes. I've tried it with the Peach Perfect powder. I've also tried it with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, which, by the way, guys, on my beauty favorites, oh my god, I just about died because Charlotte Tilbury actually responded to my video. Oh, I was just stunned. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, no, this isn't real. And yeah, it was her. I was so excited. I love that powder. I love a lot of her products. Her product line is pretty damn good. Right now, the foundation is looking a little sketch on my nose. Like I said, my nose is looking not so great. I've got some definite patchiness on my nose, and again, coming in closely, hopefully you can see that. Let me reduce the lighting and see if that will help to show you how it's looking on my nose. It's just breaking up and it doesn't want to sit on my nose. I don't know what it is about this foundation and my nose. It just doesn't want to behave there. There's my face, and with a lower light, and you can see that it just, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, you know, right here in this area is just, it does not want to participate. Like I said, it fell right into the fine lines, and yeah, All right, well, regardless, I'm still going to continue wearing this throughout the day for you guys and then show you what it looks like at the end of the day. I'm going to check out now, and I will be back when I've got my full face of makeup and am getting ready to go, or at least getting ready to go get dressed. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, everyone, so I am back. I've got my full face of makeup. I haven't gotten ready for work yet. I thought I would check in here first before getting dressed. It has been about 49 minutes since I started. It is currently, let me get my tablet here. It is currently 7:49 a.m. and already I'm starting to see stuff. I'm gonna come in a little bit closer. All right, here we are, close up and personal. And I just want to show you guys what is going on here in the creases of my nose. There is a great deal of settling in that area. I mean, it is really bad, really bad. And then I don't know if you can see, but I have settling in this line here. Not in this line. The application on my nose is awful. It's breaking up around this nostril. Not so bad on this side. It just seems to be this side and the tip that give issue. My forehead is okay. There's not anything unusual about that there. It is settling into these wrinkles that I have here. My blush and my contour, my highlight went on really well. My highlight on my nose did not go on so well. So there is something about this foundation and my nose that just do not agree with one another. I don't know what it is. I mean, I primed my nose like I primed the rest of my face. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but that's kind of what it's looking like. I have not added fix spray, but there is a reason why I didn't add fix spray, and I will show you as I check in throughout the day. I'm gonna go ahead and let the natural oils settle my powders throughout the morning because it kind of happens quickly. So that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and take off and get ready for work and get my day going, and I will see you guys in a little bit. I'll be seeing you again soon. Bye. So welcome back. It is currently 5:43 in the evening. Let's start out with the obvious. Look at how much has come off right here on the side of my nose where my glasses sit. Now, this is a known thing for me. You know, all foundations do this. They don't stick around much when I have to wear my glasses, but I have not worn a foundation in a long time that has come off to this extent. I mean, it is completely broken down along the sides of my nose, not just where the little pad of my glasses sits, but like all the way down. And then I'm gonna come in closer so that you can see what is happening on the side of my nose. Do you see how it is breaking down right there? And guys, this started at 11:30. It started just a couple, just a few hours after having this makeup on, and my nose is exposed. You can see that it's breaking down on my chin. You can also see that it has settled into this line, and I have even an additional line right there. I rarely ever see that little guy, that second little guy. This makeup is really emphasizing all of those lines and wrinkles, especially on the bottom part of my face, and this little wrinkle right here that I have on my brow. I've got foundation that has settled in there. You can see how shiny I am in the middle of my face and on my forehead. It hasn't broken down too bad. Well, yeah, it has a little bit. You can kind of see the dividing line between my concealer and the foundation because the foundation is breaking apart, but the concealer is still holding itself together. You can see all of the texture on my face. I mean, I'm looking at this and my pores look horrible, and I can see that the foundation is starting to settle into the actual pore. And I didn't use Fix Plus this morning for this particular reason, because if I had, I would be way more greasy looking, because the Fix Plus gives me a dewy finish anyway. So I didn't want to add more dew to the mix. So that's why I didn't use any of the MAC Fix Plus this morning. Yeah. All right, let me back it up and I will share with you my final thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about the foundation. I am not happy with this foundation at all. As a matter of fact, I even considered nixing this video yesterday when I was having so much trouble getting the foundation on my face, you know, getting it to stick on my nose and just seeing what happened when I used my Artis brush. I do not like this foundation. It is not working for me at all. It is probably one of the worst foundations I have tried in a good long while for me. Within 4 hours, it started to break down on my nose. And I saw some of the natural oils, but it wasn't anything too crazy. And I made a point not to touch my face, by the way. So after about 4 hours, this foundation tends to start breaking up around the oily areas and even on the chin, which my chin is dry. And so it didn't break up as bad, but it's still breaking up around my chin. I don't like the fact that it settles into the pores immediately. And it just gets worse as the day progresses. You can just see it more and more and more in the pores as the day goes on. And that is just, oh, I hate that. I mean, I see it when I apply it at the very beginning. It didn't do it as badly on me today because I used a flat top kabuki brush. But when I used my Artis brush or when I used a beauty sponge, I had that issue really bad. I mean, like to where it was just foundation sitting in my pores and nowhere else on my face. I don't like the fact that the application process is such a pain in the ass. I don't like the way that it blends into the skin. It doesn't really blend into the skin, actually. It just sits on the skin and I can see it just sitting there. It never kind of blends in and melts in and becomes one with the skin. It would rather become one with my pores. It settles into fine lines as well, or medium lines or deep lines. It doesn't matter. It finds the lines on your face and starts settling into them right off the bat, and it just continues to get worse as the day progresses. I mean, I was so stunned when I looked at my chin, and I'll show you a picture right here that I took of myself at my desk at work to show you just how wrinkled my chin looks with this foundation. Now, I know I've got fine lines on my chin. I know that, you know, those wrinkles are starting to happen there, and I don't want to have a foundation that is going to sink into those problem areas. And none of us do, right? None of us do, especially those of us that are aging and have aging skin. The coverage was fine, but it just didn't last. It just started to break down. Now, I am pleased to report that at least you can still see my blush, my contour, and my highlight. But in the areas where I'm oily, it just did not do well at all. It doesn't work with my favorite primer, the NYX Pore Filler Primer. I guess probably because it wants to occupy what, you know, where the NYX is. Actually, you know, it doesn't work with the optical illusion either. I didn't try it with any kind of oil control primers because the fact that it would sink into my pores, I was trying to get it to stop from doing that, and especially my favorite did not work. The NYX Pore Filler works so well with all of my other foundations, even the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, but this foundation just did not want to do it. I'm not happy at all. I would have to say that, you know, this foundation is a hell no, especially if you have aging skin. And I don't think that any skin type, honestly, could get away with wearing this foundation. I really don't. I mean, if you're oily, it's going to break apart. If you're dry, it's going to cling to those dry spots. If you have pores and wrinkles, it's going to settle into those areas. If you have normal skin, and I have normal skin on my cheeks, and it still looks like it's breaking apart there as well. It just performed so badly on my skin, and the application process was just such a pain in the ass. So those are my thoughts. I'm sorry to have to be so negative, but I mean, this is the worst foundation ever for me. And that's just for me. It may work for you beautifully. You might have a different primer that you're using. Those are my thoughts. I'm sorry again to have to be so negative, but give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or found it informative. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. My core content is around beauty with a perspective coming from an over 40 beauty lover. So if that's what you like, or if that's who you are, then please don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you can be assured that my videos will show up on your feed. Follow me on social media. I have everything linked down below. Okay, so that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I do appreciate the support. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends. Thanks and have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you in my next video. Bye.